Hey everybody, it is a pleasure to be here with you. I wish it could be in person, but alas, we have to be safe. I'm Justina Perry here on behalf of BuyBlackNB, where our aim is to cultivate economic empowerment and pride in the community, serving as a directory of Black-owned businesses in the South Coast Massachusetts region and highlighting Black business owners. I am thrilled to be starting this Black in Business series. Here's how we will spend our time today. As a celebration of Black History Month, we're kicking off our series by meeting some amazing women who are literally making history. Today, we will meet Iva Brito, Gomes of Beauty Union, the team at Celia's Boutique, and Samia Walker, all here to share stories of their career journeys. You don't want to miss this. And what better way to celebrate women and Black history than to have Rihanna Grace from the Historical Society of New Bedford here as our co-host. Hey, Rihanna. I'll tell you a little bit about Rihanna. She is a lifelong New Bedford resident. In 2013, she graduated from Boston College with a degree in sociology and African diaspora studies. Upon graduating from college, she entered the nonprofit sphere as a case manager at the Harbor House Family Center, a shelter for families, and moved on to the New Bedford YMCA, working as the youth development director. Most recently, she was the Arts and Culture Program Manager at the South Coast Community Foundation. In her role, Grace provided support for arts and culture nonprofit organizations that serve youth immigrants and culturally and ethnically diverse populations in Fall River and New Bedford. Earlier this year, Grace began as a program officer at the Island Foundation, supporting nonprofits in New Bedford that promote progressive social change and organizations across the country that address root causes of inequity for women and girls in the United States. Grace also serves on a number of local organizations as a board member and teaches catechism at her church. She's the co-chair of the Board and Civic Leadership Racial Equity Working Group for the YWCA. In 2016, she was named one of 5 South Coast emerging leaders under 40. And in 2017, she graduated from Leadership South Coast. In 2018, she was awarded the Spirit of Leadership Award from the YWCA of Southeastern Mass. In 2020, she was accepted as a Places Fellow through the Funders Network. This fellowship uses learning, coaching, and reflections to explore cultural racism, community empowerment, and equitable grant-making practices. She also is a Zumba instructor at the New Bedford YMCA. When she's not working or volunteering, Rihanna enjoys spending time with her family, cooking, and writing spoken word poetry. It's my pleasure to share the virtual stage with Rihanna Grace. Allow me to now turn it over to Rihanna. Thank you.
Thanks, Justina, for that warm welcome. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be here. And I echo Justina's sentiment. I wish we could be in person, but happy to stay safe and still be able to present a really awesome program. So as Justina said, I'm here on behalf of the New Bedford Historical Society. And I thought it would be nice to kind of set the stage for tonight's event by reflecting on our history. And so I have 5 Black women from the New Bedford area who I'd like to share some history about. And so first I'm going to begin with Polly Johnson. Polly Johnson was a business owner with her husband, Nathan Johnson, and they actually owned the home on 7th Street that the New Bedford Historical Society owns now and works out of. This home was the first free home of Frederick Douglass, and Polly and her husband, Nathan, were known for taking in fugitives and helping to protect people who had escaped slavery and who were coming to start a free life in New Bedford. So she was an entrepreneur. She had a shop at 23 7th Street and specialized in candies, cakes, and ice cream. So she had Polly's Confections and was known for providing sweets for parties and different events in the city. Something that was also really special about her was that she was a mindful manager. Even though she sold sweets, she ensured that none of the sugar was made on plantations that had enslaved people, and rather only used sugar that was from plantations that employed free workers who were paid. So she was very cognizant of that and made sure that any specialties that she made had that ethical connection. So with her husband, she owned 4 other properties on the Spring Street area and on the 7th Street area. So now that is being recognized as Abolition Row, and through the Historical Society and other partners, Abolition Row Park will be breaking ground this spring, and the park will serve as a dedication to the different abolitionists who were in the area, and will also have a statue of Frederick Douglass. So really excited for that to come. Next, we have Amelia Piper. She wasn't exactly an entrepreneur, but I thought it was important to highlight her due to her work as a manager for the New Bedford Female Union Society, which was a group for African-American women devoted to anti-slavery. So she was also an abolitionist. She and her husband had fled Virginia, and when they safely arrived in New Bedford, she began organizing and doing a ton of abolitionist work. She helped to organize the first anti-racist slavery fair, anti-slavery fair in New Bedford, which was held on New Year's Day in 1840. And so as part of the fundraising for that event, they did sell handiwork and autographs of well-known people. So even though she wasn't exactly an entrepreneur, I thought that she used entrepreneurial skills to help raise money for this really important cause. And she also helped many fugitives on the Underground Railroad, including Harriet Jacobs, who does have a tie to New Bedford. And she was the only African-American enslaved woman who has written an autobiography. Next, we have Dr. Juan Bennett Drummond. She was the first African-American woman licensed in the state of Massachusetts to practice medicine. So she was a doctor, and she practiced and cared for people out of her home right here in New Bedford. She graduated from New Bedford High School and went on to the Women's Medical College in Pennsylvania. And so she had her own practice as an entrepreneur, caring for the people of New Bedford. And after practicing in her home, relocated to an office above the Old State Theater on Purchase Street. She was a community activist, and she helped to found the New Bedford Home for the Aged. Elizabeth Carter Brooks, a name that might sound familiar to many people listening. She was a teacher, she was an architect, and she helped to form the Northeastern Federation of Colored Women's Clubs. As an architect and real estate developer, she was rooted in social justice and equity. She was very mindful of gathering young women, especially young women of color. She promoted anti-racist practices, and she was always looking out for people of all ages, especially for the elderly and especially for people of color. But she was very mindful of the value of community and was very rooted in her community. She used her skills for good. She used her intellect, her architect skills, and as a teacher, she was always looking to help those in her community. And actually in Washington, D.C., she helped to supervise the building of the Phyllis Wheatley YWCA. And another interesting fact about her is that she loaned money to the Martha Briggs Educational Club so that they could purchase Sergeant Carney's home on Mill Street, which is actually where the Martha Briggs Society still takes place and holds their meeting. They own the home that was once owned by Sergeant William H. Carney, who served in the 54th Regiment. So she helped them out as well because she believed in their goals and their purpose for education. And in 1897, she founded the New Bedford Home for the Aged, along with Dr. Drummond, and helped to design its permanent home as an architect. And in 1957, that the Elizabeth Carter Brooks School was named after her, which is still a school in New Bedford today. And last but not least, we have Lena Brito. She was born in Rochester, so not exactly New Bedford, but in the greater New Bedford area. And she was born in Rochester, but was of descent from Cabo Verde. She was a big advocate for the independence movement for Cape Verde, and she was a mentor to many immigrants who came from the country. She would help them with interpreting skills. She would help them with getting their paperwork together so that they could apply for citizenship. And she was just an advocate for those who had come over from the country. She sold door-to-door products for Avon, strawberries, brushes, and that's what kind of kicked off her entrepreneurial journey. From there, she owned and operated her own business, which was a beauty salon, Van Lee Beauty Salon, for 18 years. And from there, she became a licensed real estate broker where she would help to sell homes and businesses. And she was also a social worker. And when the state offered to help support the education for the state social workers, she took advantage and went to college and got her Bachelor of Science in Human Services at the age of 64, which I found very inspiring because I know that sometimes we think that our age can hold us back from achieving what we want to, but I think that Miss Brito is a great example that it's never too late to start a journey or to achieve something that you wanted to. And so those are 5 women that I thought were just really great to talk about and to highlight, setting the stage for Black women who have always been entrepreneurs back in the 1800s. There are many more examples, I'm sure, in the city, but I thought that those stories were really special. And just in general, during that time, that there may have been women that owned businesses with their partners. And if their partners were at sea, or in the example of Polly Johnson, her husband went off to the gold rush in California, but because she had established herself and made herself comfortable and successful financially, she was able to keep all the properties that they had and continue her work as an abolitionist. And I also want to give a shout out to the people who organized Lighting the Way South Coast. So all of the bios that I read today were taken from the website that is historicwomensouthcoast.org. That's part of the Lighting the Way project from the Whaling Museum. The New Bedford Historical Society President Lee Blake wrote some of those biographies, as well as many other women and people who came together to create the biographies for dozens and dozens of women. So I highly suggest that you check out that website. I, again, only pulled 5, but they have a great number of women from the whole South Coast, not just New Bedford, and people in all areas from all different decades. And it just is a great resource for us to have. So I pulled the information and those photos from that website. So I wanted to make sure to give them a shout out, historicwomensouthcoast.org. So please check it out if you have the chance. So that's what I wanted to share on behalf of the Historical Society. Feel free to check out the Historical Society's Facebook or website for more information about history in general for New Bedford. The mission of the New Bedford Historical Society is to share and uplift the stories of people of color in the city. So there are definitely always events and programs going on, and I highly suggest that you tune into what they have to offer as well. And so now it is my great pleasure to introduce Iva Brito. Iva Brito is a dynamic talent changing the world. As a native of Cabo Verde, West Africa, Iva channels her nostalgic love of her birthplace through her talents. Performing throughout the country, she shares her culturally diverse heritage through a wellspring love. Calling for liberation and justice for humanity, Iva expresses this passion through all of her artistic works. The New Bedford Whaling National Park in New Bedford awarded Iva a prestigious artist in residence, where she focused on developing and producing art on the region's unique ancestral connection through prolific immigrant communities. Iva holds a Master's of Science degree from UMass Boston. She completed her advanced graduate studies in expressive arts at Salve Regina University. Iva considers this an integral part of completing her studies in holistic counseling at SRU. As a licensed social worker, Iva serves as the director of Bristol Community College's Women's Center. She is an inspiring and moving keynote speaker. I'm so excited to have Iva. I've known Iva for a while, both through her poetry and through the professional world. The work that she's doing at the Women's Center is amazing, and her work as an artist is wonderful, and it really will speak to and resonate with you. So I'm so excited to present Iva, and I hope that you guys all enjoy what she has to share. Thanks.
Thank you, Rihanna, for that awesome introduction. And thank you to the New Bedford Historical Society and BuyBlackNB New Bedford for having this event. I'm honored to be here. As a woman of color entrepreneur myself, I think it's important to be in spaces where we're championing women, when we're highlighting the strengths and leadership that we have in our community, especially as women business owners and entrepreneurs. So I'm honored to be here and part of this event. As she said, I am an artist. A little bit about me: I was recently the art in residence for the New Bedford Whaling National Park. So big shout out to them for that great experience I had there. And I'm continuously infusing the arts as a multidisciplinary artist, whether it be through poetry, performing, drawing, writing, music, and all the things that I do. And I'm very intentional about infusing that through healing, whether it's through community development in the areas of art and education. And I've begun doing some consulting in that area. But overall, my goal in using the arts, expressive arts, is really to create healing and uplift humanity. So today I wanted to share with you something I'm excited about. I partnered with another fellow Cape Verdean in this project. One of my poems, Exhale for Hope, he really was inspired by that and wanted to create a film from it. So we co-produced and he directed this film, and his name is Ali D'Souza, an internationally award-winning director that we worked together on this piece. And to give you a little background, this piece came out of feeling frustration, pain, hurt from many of the violence and challenges we were facing as a nation, especially those in the BIPOC community. And I wanted to really, share that, but that is just a stop on our journey here. I feel I'm of service and most of service to talk about the healing and how we can transcend and grow as a community. So I want to highlight that this is not the end, and I want to do more workshops, trainings, experiences for people to connect with one another, whether it's connecting through nature, whether it's connecting with one another through the arts in different forms. That's where I get passionate and can be of service, like I mentioned. So I wanted to say that more about that can be found on my website, ivabrito.com. So without further ado, this is Exhale for Hope and a beginning of a conversation for more to come. Thank you.
There is a melancholy in the hearts of indigenous peoples, centuries-old angst visited on the future. The underbelly of a very imperfect union is exposed by a cadre of despots.
Mother Earth's piercing cry echoes around the world, shaking our conscious core. Future windows shattered, broken family trees, blood-stained roots, vibrating heartache. Category 25, violence earthquake. Devastating desperation, loss of another son, daughter, ihu, mommy, papi, tiu, nana, sister, student, loved one. Open our eyes to this epidemic. Church bells ringing, ancestral calling an end to this barbaric civil war subsiding in our living room. Too close to the screen, a blur. Flattening sensitivity, countless names and faces. Explosive reality, TikTok Sanford, TikTok Ferguson, TikTok New York, TikTok Cleveland, TikTok Baltimore, TikTok your block. Overstuffed society Dropbox, ready to pop. 1,000-pound life weight, earth press size, media lies, broken integrity spine, valuing property over lies. Illogical laws tearing away our humanitarian cloth. Each shake, tremor, and sound, more urgent and intense than the last, calling on our societal leaders to unpress the privilege mute button and hear reality's truth, agonizing defeat aftershocks of white supremacy. Deafening the soul, testing the faith of a song sung for way too long, of change gonna come uncome upon, looking for a new resolution to baptize a soul, as I can only hold Goliath's chokehold for so long before another explosion that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their name.
Forcing another swallow of society's toxins, locked in, praying to find and exhale for hope.
What a treat to have the premiere of Iva's Exhale for Hope film, which was such a beautiful and important message. Thank you so much, Iva. And we're really grateful to have Lori Gomes coming to share next with us. Hey, Lori. I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about Lori. So Lori Gomes is a mother of 3, a grandmother of 2, a hairstylist, a motion picture stylist, educator, and mentor. She's been beautifying the ladies of New Bedford and beyond for over 30 years and continues to give back through her service. Her salon, Beauty Union by Lori Gomes, opened in 2018 at 338 Acushnet Ave in the heart of New Bedford's historic district. The Union is a group of accomplished stylists who share one philosophy: beauty is so much more than skin deep. Lori's also a musician. Her early years were spent watching her father and the legendary Tavares brothers perform, adding to her love for classic Motown. She studied jazz and voice under the late, great Berkeley professor Armstead Christian. Subsequently, Lori began performing with John Harrison, a pianist and music professor at UMass Dartmouth. This inspired Lori to form her own band, Lori Gomes Ensemble. She recently added Cape Verdean Creole to her music repertoire and is currently working on her solo jazz album. Today, Lori is a hairstylist. So much more to come. Lori is a hairstylist working on feature films and series, which include Netflix, Hulu, Showtime, and 20th Century Fox. Her film credits can be viewed on imbd.com and include Stephen King's Castle Rock and Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy. Lori, along with her daughter Paige Jones, co-founded She, Her, We, A Space for Women as an event series formed to inspire local collaboration, promote inclusion, and create community. Lori wholeheartedly believes that anything is achievable when you fully apply yourself and while paying it forward. The plan is to continue paving the way for others, showing you do not have to leave New Bedford in order to follow your dreams. Lori is also who I happen to trust with my own hair. I invite you to listen to Lori's journey. Thank you, Lori, for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Such a pleasure. So where do I begin to squeeze 30 plus years into a few minutes? So I'll bullet point all the most important moments in my life that have inspired me to travel, where I ended up right here at Beauty Union on 338 Cushman Ave, New Bedford. So my journey started here on this very street in 1989 when I graduated from the Barons, right up the street. And I landed a job at Christine's at Times Square, who became my mentor and taught me the best in hair cutting and so many styling techniques. I used to love walking into that building every day, in the Times Square building, because I felt like I was in New York City. And it was just awesome. So I always knew that I wanted to have a salon downtown. I was always obsessed with the architecture and just the historic feeling that you feel when you're here. So it's amazing that this many years later, and my second salon downtown, I end up right here on the very street where I began so many years ago as a 19-year-old fresh out of hair school with big dreams. So my dreams have led me all over the place. And I have a family, and very close-knit, very large family, Cape Verdean and Portuguese, and many other ethnicities mixed in. And so we've always been very, very close to one another. And I wanted to find a way to not have to leave New Bedford in order to be, to feel accomplished, because many people that I've grown up with always feel that they have to move away, or they have to seek dreams in bigger cities, and they feel like New Bedford just didn't have what they needed. And maybe in some professions, in some cases, that could be the case. But for me, I found a way to make it work. So my whole philosophy with Beauty Union, and just my style of being behind the chair and interacting with my clients and interacting with people in general, I like to tell my story. I like to connect with everyone, and I like to travel out of the area, and I like to work. And I've actually connected myself with every part of my artistry and taken as many educational courses as I could, so that I could come back to New Bedford and share it with all the upcoming stylists, or just inspire people in my chair to go after their dreams, whatever they may be, and to also let them know that they don't have to leave the city in order to create and be successful. So here I am at Beauty Union, and I've been blessed to have many different interests in art, and music is one. So I began as a little girl, like kind of singing with my dad, and he had a group called Crystal Motion with a record that was played on the radio, and I just always had dreams of being a singer. Although I was very shy, I didn't start singing until I was 27, and eventually ended up under the instruction of Armstead Christian, who introduced me to jazz, and pianist John Harrison, who put me on the stage and just threw me in front of the audience and said, "I'll back you if you make a mistake." And so that's where that part of my dream for music was realized. And I was blessed to not have to go to Berkeley. Like, I had Berkeley in-house, and learned so many things. And so I consider myself like truly blessed, and all I want to do is just share that with everyone around me. So as far as the music, I formed my own band called Lori Gomes Ensemble. And that was an accomplishment that it was a challenge for me, because leading a band, I always watched the band leaders, and I always wanted to have that confidence and that musical knowledge to actually stand in front and lead the band and actually communicate with the audience the same way I comfortably do behind the chair. It's a different type of interaction, all eyes on you. And so that was wonderful that I finally had that experience of stepping on stage and being able to, sing what I want to sing and actually have a band back me and just create on the spot. Like that was just so amazing. And due to the pandemic, we're not really playing anywhere right now. So I think that the pandemic has affected artists, every type of artist in so many ways that we've been able to create. So if we can't play in front of an audience, we're gonna be virtual. We're going to create on CD. We're gonna create in any way that we can. I am going to be hosting Vaha here and featuring two artists, Jim Job and Emmanuel Escobar. That will be featured on the Vaha on March 11th, Thursday, March 11th. So that's going to be cool because they'll be featuring my business and I'll be featuring artists, and I'm going to jump in and sing as well. So I'm going to get my little chops wet. So my first salon was located at 89 North Water Street, right above D&B Burgers, before D&B Burgers was there. I was there for 8 years in that building on the second floor. And that was like my first, my first taste of having my business downtown and getting that feeling that I dreamed of as a little girl when I used to visit downtown and see the cobblestone streets and look at the buildings and say, geesh, I would love to have like a business inside one of these buildings. So I'm blessed to have moved my business into a larger space over here in the Co-Creative Center. And it's been awesome here because the feeling that you get when you walk in this building is just, you feel the past, but yet it's kind of updated. So it has a nice vibe and you feel like you're on Newbury Street. You feel like you're in New York City. You feel like you're in Los Angeles. Like, so it's kind of cool. Everyone loves coming in and I enjoy seeing people happy when they come in and the reaction. My daughter, Paige Jones, who works at Bristol Community College and is now at Morgan State University pursuing her master's degree. I'm very proud of her. So her and I have created a group called She, Her, We, which we haven't had much time to dedicate to because of all the things with her being in grad school and me trying to grow the salon and also work in film. But we are planning for this summer to have events here, hopefully, or outside or virtually, however we can have them, to bring women together and also inspire the younger generation to create vision boards and explore different industries where they can possibly, there's so many different things that we can do now, especially due to the pandemic, because everything, they can work in computers, they can write for magazines, they can do so many things. So we hope to have that up and running by the summer of 2021 so that we can get back to normal and get everybody going and just let everyone know that there's so much out there still. So back in 2011, I was blessed to have joined Frank Antonio Hair and Makeup in creating wedding styles for all of the Newport Wedding Show and featured at the Rosecliff Mansion. And from there, it just grew into a long journey of years of doing destination weddings and just creating so many styles and going to trade shows, being guests at trade shows in New York, and just stepping into film and all of the things that usually you feel that you have to travel out of the area in order to have access to experience. So we began doing the wedding show. We continued that consecutively for at least 10 years. And I was able to style on the set of Moonrise Kingdom, which is a Wes Anderson film starring Bill Murray. And that was like the first time that I was able to feel what it's like to be on set, which is another dream that I had. So I went ahead and styled, and a few years passed between doing that job and getting hired again. But eventually I was hired by Netflix to work on a series called The Society. And that was my first like steady job working in the film industry. And that led to me working for many others. So Stephen King's Castle Rock, City on a Hill, which is on Showtime, it's a series. And there's just so many. So the last few years for me has been so crazy because I've had the salon and at the same time working on set 16 hours a day, traveling hours away or even having to stay away and not return home. We were shut down working on City on a Hill season 2, episode 1 in Chinatown in Boston last February. And I personally have not gone back yet, but I do plan to. And I love working on set. So, but during the pandemic, all of the artists, we were out of work and we were able to concentrate on other things. And I, for one, started to really focus on the music and focus on my salon and just creating some curriculum that I would love to teach online as far as, you know, for hairdressers and clients alike. So right now I'm taking a little break from being on the set, and eventually I will get back to that, but I'm enjoying being inside this. I'm enjoying being in the salon right now. I'm really enjoying being in the salon right now, and I'm loving working around the stylists that are here. I've been blessed to have found, recruited, drawn them in. I don't know, like I've been blessed to have a team that is just so awesome and talented, and they're millennials. So I love being around them and learning from them as well, because I believe that learning is forever. And that's one thing that I would say everyone has to live by. You never know enough. You never know enough, and there's always something to learn. There's always something to share, and that's how I operate. So when I sit and I have a conversation with each person in my chair, I feel like we connect on every person. We connect differently, and it just flows from there, you know. And that's not the, I'm behind the chair, not just because I'm doing hair, but because I love interacting with people. So whether it's music, whether it's hair, whether it's behind the set with an actor or actress, it's truly a blessing to be able to do all of the things that I'm doing. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you.
Anything. Oh my gosh.
It's so wonderful to hear about all of those experiences that you went through, and just so many talents that you have, and that you bring them all with passion to your work. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you a question about and I kind of have my opinion about this because I've been into your salon, and But what do you think? What would you say makes Beauty Union stand out? What keeps people coming back or attracts new clients?
Okay, so I love talking about this because I ramble with all the time with my clients about this. So what makes Beauty Union stand out? So for one, the philosophy is number one. No, I would say number one is that we have good people, like genuinely nice people that work here. So people like nice people, people like good people, people that they can trust. So we offer that. When you come in, you totally leave yourself in our hands and we're going to take care of you. And that's one thing that makes us stand out. Two, we're talented and we know our stuff. We also are one of the few salons that actually that we specialize in every texture of hair. So it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter if your hair is tight, curly, if it's frizzy, if it's long, if it's thin, if it's pin straight. We know what to do. And we make sure that we give our all to each person that comes through the store. The other thing that catches everyone's attention is the decor. When I designed this salon, and I'm very proud of my design, I did not want it to look like a beauty parlor. I wanted it to feel like you're walking into someone's home, but without it being too, so it's combined, I would say, with all of the things that I love. I love lofts, I love vintage, and I love home. So all of those things combined create the atmosphere. When you come in the door, you immediately feel good vibes. I have studied feng shui a little bit in the past. And so as much as I'm not going by the book, I'm actually going by my feeling. And so when I put things in certain places, and I know what I'm doing, because when people come in, everyone says the same thing. And so hearing that over and over and over and over again, like, lets you know you're doing something right. When they come in and they smell the essential oils, that's another thing I do. I'm an essential oil advocate. So not only do I create blends for pain and internal and external use and aromatic use, they're here in the salon. And so when people come in, they're immediately calm. It smells good. Because I love music, we have music playing, and it's always a different style of music. So there's something for everyone, and everyone just loves coming in. It's just like you just leave life behind when you walk through the door, when you come into Beauty Union. It's
really a beautiful space. And I will shout out the address again. Lori's at 338 Acushnet Ave in the heart of downtown New Bedford. And it's been such a joy to have you, Lori, with us today to learn about some of what you've overcome and what you bring to the community. So I just want to thank you on behalf of BuyBlackNB and the New Bedford Historical Society for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, now I would like to welcome back Rihanna Grace. Hey, Rihanna.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome. So I know you have some exciting guests next that you're going to be speaking with. So I'm going to hand it off to you.
Great. Thanks, Justina. So I'm really excited to bring up this next trio of powerhouse women from Celia's Boutique in New Bedford. In May of 2021, Celia's Boutique will be celebrating 18 years in business. They're located at 111 William Street in downtown New Bedford. So I'm going to introduce the ladies of Celia's. Celia Brito was born in Brava, Cabo Verde, and immigrated as a child with her family to the United States settling in New Bedford. She attended New Bedford public schools. She moved to Boston and joined the Polaroid Corporation in Norwood, Massachusetts. Starting as an entry-level worker, she then enrolled at Roxbury Community College and attended Merrimack College to obtain her Certified Purchasing Management certificate. During her tenure at Polaroid, Celia was a strong advocate for women and people of color. She was a founding member of the diversity group at Polaroid, which was responsible for ensuring fair employment practices and advancement of cultural competency for the organization. Celia was the only woman of color to be appointed to the leadership team for the new startup business, which MCT, which had a direct impact on New Bedford's economy. With the closing of Polaroid, Celia and her daughter, Tanya Alves, opened the doors of Celia's boutique and became the proprietors of what has become a very successful business here in New Bedford. Tanya Alves is business partners with her mom. She is also the principal at South Coast Development Solutions, LLC, a consultancy business she owns with her husband. Raised in New Bedford, Tanya attended New Bedford Public Schools and UMass Dartmouth, where she has been a mentor for young people for more than 20 years. She has held management positions throughout her career and has served on the board of directors at the YWCA of Southeastern Massachusetts for 6 years, and is currently a member of the Martha Briggs Educational Club and a recent member of the Dartmouth Rotary. Tanya has always valued family, faith, community, and advocating for equity and social justice. Cynthia A. Rose, part of the team at Celia's, is part of the team for Celia's Boutique in New Bedford. After retiring from 2 wonderful careers 10 years ago, she wanted to find something to keep active and interacting with people. Being a part of Celia's Boutique for the last 5 years was the perfect solution. Cynthia loves meeting new people, putting outfits together for people, and giving her honest opinion on how it looks. Cynthia notes that the quality of the clothing carried by Celia is certainly exquisite, and knowing that she does not buy too many of the same thing is what makes people come back. So if I could have all the ladies join in, we'd love to hear more about your story and give you the opportunity to share for everyone if you'd like to share more about your story.
Thank you, Rihanna.
Thank you, Rihanna.
Thank you.
So yeah, we are Team Celia. We are the trio. And so let's talk a little bit about the journey for Celia's Boutique and how we got started. So my business journey started when the Polaroid Corporation that I worked for in Waltham area was going through some tough times and headed towards filing Chapter 11. And it was just a matter of time before we would file, they would file Chapter 7. The writing was on the wall, and I knew it was time for me to start mapping out the next steps to my career path. Some of my coworkers and I started to send our resume out to headhunters. And, we were getting calls and there was interest out there. And I kind of put things in perspective, and I decided to stop working with the headhunters and made the decision with the support of my husband, and discussed my vision with my daughter, Tanya, who is now co-owner of Celia's Boutique. And once I got everyone's blessings and everyone was on board and I had their support, then it was time to put energy towards investing and starting my own business in my hometown of New Bedford. That was very important to us. My journey to become a business owner started in 2001, while I was still a full-time employee at the Polaroid Corporation and commuting to Waltham to and from on a daily basis, like an hour and a half each way. So that was getting kind of tough as well. So then we moved on, and because of my career background, gave me the buyer and marketing experience and confidence to take the leap into the world of entrepreneurship. Downtown is the heart and soul of the city, my opinion, and this was a great opportunity to make a difference. I saw the potential, felt the energy, good vibes, and the desire to help bring downtown New Bedford back to the vibrant city, rich in culture, history, shops, busy streets and etc. I was inspired, and I had such an interest and willingness to be part of the Renaissance and revitalization of downtown New Bedford. The concept was to be a specialty store featuring clothing for women who enjoyed busy lives, filled with careers, travel, friends, and family. The boutique would cater to the clientele by choosing fashions that fit their lifestyle. We offer outfits for the office, leisure, special occasion. We also provide accessories such as belts, scarves, comfortable fashion shoes, nylon stockings, and more. We are grateful and proud to say that we were one of the first Black women-owned business to open an upscale boutique downtown when New Bedford was in the first stages of revitalizing the downtown. We have made many accomplishments. The past 17 plus years, we have created a reputation being one of the more successful businesses in New Bedford and surrounding areas. And I have to, so our first business buying trip was to Las Vegas. It was the Magic Retail Trade Show. And little funny thing to this, so we had no clue, of course, we didn't know. I'd never been to Vegas. Tanya had been, but she was just a young girl when she went, and she was 5 or 6 months pregnant. Yeah. And here we are going. So we, made the reservations, got the hotel, we got there, and oh my God, it was overwhelming. We were like stumbling. I said, oh my God. Once we got to the trade center, there were like thousands of suppliers there. And so we had plans to open our business in May of 2003. And the month of February is when everything, happened. And we found out that there's this big trade show in Las Vegas. And if you want, so we have a date to open, but we have no merchandise. So here we are getting on the plane, and going to Vegas, and we did all that. So now we didn't know what to do. And we had business cards that we made up to go so they would know that we're legit. And so at any rate, we started going to different booths, and we didn't know at the time that in our industry, you have to shop 9 months to a year in advance in order to meet your season's merchandise. So we're looking for spring and summer because we're opening in May, and everyone's like, oh no, this is for next winter. We're done, but they were so gracious that they guided us. They told us, there are companies that are selling immediates. We're like, what's immediate? Immediate is, they're selling things, right, they'll ship right away. Look, okay, that's exactly what we want. So my poor daughter, all these out here, I was like, Mom, I can't walk anymore. And we're walking miles and miles and miles to the place so big. So I just wanted to share that, part of the journey and not knowing what you don't know. So,
right. At that time, we did not have a storefront yet. An existing storefront was being worked on. So everything that was purchased was literally getting shipped to the house, to my mom's house. So her living room was sky high with boxes. Of merchandise.
We had an address, but they were working in the building. They were building it out for us. So yeah, thanks for sharing that too, Tanya. Thank you. So, so just a little takeaway. Successful entrepreneurs believe in building relationships. Believe value is the key to success. Believing in the power of focus, and find mentors who walk alongside, because we can't do anything alone. We always need our friends, our family. We need resources. We need mentors. We never know everything. And so we always need to find someone that's going to help us out, push us along. And entrepreneurship is a state of mind. Entrepreneurship is a state of controlling your own destiny. And I truly believe that. It's not always easy, but this is our story, and this was the journey to Celia's Boutique.
Very good, good. I'd like to tell you how I met Celia and my story with Celia.
Absolutely.
As you heard from Rihanna, I've had 2 wonderful careers. In my first career, was as a police officer, and obviously as a police officer, we don't wear regular clothes, we wear a uniform. But by the time I met Celia, which was, I think 16 years ago, no, 17 years ago, I was just going into I left the police department and I was going into another position that I needed to dress for. So my first hookup with Celia was, I was a customer. So I remember going when she first opened, and I used to go there as a kid. It was Cherry and Webb, and I'm saying, wow, we got a boutique here, and we're not used to having boutiques in New Bedford at that time. I mean, it's going to be 18 years that you have been open. So at that time, we weren't used to having boutiques. So I used to go in there and buy clothes, and we became good friends. And then I was getting married, and Celia helped me pick out my wedding dress, and I bought my wedding dress from her. In fact, my anniversary is in a few more days, and we will have been married for 15 years. So we kept our relationship, you know, the whole time. And then when I was fortunate enough to retire, I figured I'd wanted to do something else. And because this is my community, I've always lived here except when I went to school, but I like this community. So I wanted to keep contacts with the people in this community. So I kind of talked to Celia, and she said, sure, I could come on board. And I just love it. And I love people. I love putting stuff together for people. In fact, you can't see, but I do have a top of Celia's. It's one of her labels that she carries, Frank Lyman, and as she told you, we carry everything from casual to sporty to dressy. So I'm very happy to be there and to have people that we never met come in, and also people that we're friends, because when people come into the store, they kind of tell us their story. And it's more than just a business, it's getting personal with them as much as they want to. So I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's good for the community to have right in our backyard, so people don't have to go to the mall or go out of town. And we do get people from out of town, but I love just being in the community. So that's my story with Celia.
Thank you, Cynthia. And we love having you there.
Absolutely, we love you.
Thank you.
Tanya?
No, no, Ivy, I don't have a story right now. Part of Celia's, you kind of covered it, Mom. Okay. Back when we opened in 03, moving forward to now. And again, you know, I love working alongside my mom, and I love working alongside Cynthia. You know,
we do have fun.
We do.
We do.
It sounds like it.
Yep,
yeah, it sounds like it's a really nice place to work. So thank you for sharing that story. I loved hearing that. And I'm wondering about, you explained a little bit about when you started downtown, and I know it's changed a lot. So I'm wondering about what kept you motivated to work downtown before it was revitalized, before it was thriving, and is more of what it is today.
Okay. Do you want to do something, Tanya?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking about that, and you two can, you know, jump in. Sure. But thinking back to 2003, when the boutique opened back at the old Cherry and Webb building on Purchase Street, like Cynthia mentioned, the three things that come to mind for me that kept us motivated and kept it fun and kept us inspired, definitely was community, neighboring businesses, and networks. And so when, you know, I talk about community, I think about everyone in our community, from New Bedford to surrounding area, just words of inspiration, just people coming in and shopping, the business community, from our neighboring businesses downtown, just, you know, stopping in, and words of inspiration and helping each other rise, and just open arms. and keeping that momentum going in downtown New Bedford for the few businesses that were down there at that time, because there wasn't a whole lot going on back in 2003 in downtown. Down to our networks, meaning our family, our friends, our professional networks, just everyone behind us and wanting us to honestly succeed.
Right.
And stay in the downtown New Bedford for many years to come at that time. And when I think back on that and I see where we are now in May, you know, we will be celebrating our 18th year in business. And to me, those three things really stick out as far as, you know, how it kept us motivated, how it kept us going. And those things are still for me part of what I feel, you know, keeps us going till this day in downtown New Bedford, as well as there were some, you know, important people that helped us along the way. And Mom, I don't know, but I think of Elaine Lima. She was our neighbor a few doors down. I think it was Elaine's Costumes.
Yeah.
You know, and my mom put it best when we were chatting. She was like, yeah, she was definitely like our she hero at that time.
Yeah.
She, you know, stopped in. She was so excited to have, you know, another business, a women-led business. And she was always in our corner and always right there, lending a helping hand with whatever we needed. And that meant a lot. You know, and so I think about her a lot when we talk about this motivation and the journey in downtown New Bedford and the revitalization of it all.
And it really warms my heart when we can order something for someone if we don't have their size. And it warms my heart when I see the same people coming back and then them bringing new people with them. So we get more customers, word of mouth that way. But they're you know, we appreciate them and they appreciate us, which is very, very good. And if we can make someone happy by, you know, making them feel comfortable in what they're wearing and help them pick out their clothing, that's important to us. So,
yeah, so I'm gonna jump in. So for me, motivation back then was the overwhelming amount of support that we were receiving. You know, just new in the city, new downtown, brand new store, it's an upscale store. And just the support, I mean, from the mayor's office, from the other, as Tanya mentioned, neighboring businesses. And yes, Elaine played a major role in supporting us. And she tried to take us to all the other businesses that were downtown so we can put a name with a face, you know, and it was really nice because she really wanted that strength and that downtown to come back to where it once was years ago. And, you know, and then when we have phone calls from people calling in from Rhode Island, what are your hours? We heard about your store. We heard about your merchandise. We heard about your customer service. We want to go down. So they would come in. People from Connecticut. We have, in starting back on Purchase Street, women in groups who would travel to different towns, you know, to visit different boutiques. And that is what really motivated us. And it was like, you have, you know, we love that you're here. We love what you're offering to us. We love what you're bringing into the city. And pretty soon, you know, hopefully other people will follow. And so from where we were then to where we are today, we honestly, I honestly believe that we were that fever, that fire that started to draw and lure other businesses to downtown to where today there aren't too many empty storefronts.
Right. We've come a long way downtown.
Absolutely.
And it's really interesting to hear about those obstacles that you've overcome, and then also what makes you stand out and keeps people coming back. So that leads me to my next question, which is how over the last year during our current pandemic, how things have had to change, how you've pivoted and made it work, or what's changed for your business?
I think basically, you know, I can speak to that a little bit. I think basically what's changed, obviously, is we have less hours and we're only open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But we compensate by, if anybody wants to come in, we make appointments. And this past year, we had a group of women come in and it was just them. We went by CDC guidelines and it was just them and we did very well. So we've compensated by doing things like that. Plus, I think Tanya and Celia have both been working on the website. So that's been going and I think it's still being worked on.
Yeah.
But basically, that's...
You want to shout out the website? Where can people find your business online?
Yep, it's shopceliasboutique.com. And it's still, you know, a work
in progress.
And Instagram and on Instagram.
Yeah, so we had to jump into social media. You know, we had to pivot. Pivot was, that's like the word in everyone's household right now. Yeah. Anybody who has a business, even if you don't have a business, we all had to pivot, right? Personal life and professional lives. So yeah, Tanya has been working very aggressively with the website. She is working on getting all the contents in there so that we will upload it and everyone will be able to go in their shop. And social media, you know, Facebook, she's been really active with that as well. We've been doing Instagram. You know, you have to change. You can't, if you stay there, you know, what's going to happen. So you got to sink or swim, and we're swimming. Yeah. We're swimming. And so, yeah, we've had to make a lot of changes.
Yeah. I mean, but all for the good. Yeah, I was just going to say, we were closed for 4 months, you know, when this all hit us. And so during, you know, the right, it was about 4 months.
Yeah, 4.5.
Right. And so, you know, that word pivoting, yeah, we were like, okay, you know, my mom always says this, we are brick and mortar, and then COVID happened, and it just, you have to kind of, okay, now what? And so that pivoting, like Cynthia and my mom mentioned, it was the social media platforms, which we're utilizing a lot more and need to utilize even more. You know, and we did, like Cynthia mentioned, a lot of private appointments.
Quite a few.
Yeah, we were doing, you know, and you still do that too. We have a day just for the private appointments. We're doing a lot of porch drop-offs, as well as curbside pickups.
Right.
And we were also doing Zoom, like virtual showings, because we had a lot of customers that weren't comfortable with the private appointments and may still not even be comfortable right now going to the boutique. Sure. So we did a lot of virtual Zooms that they could still, you know, get that one-on-one customer service and still chat with us, and we're going through the boutique and kind of trying things on and showing them things. And so we had to pivot in that way, as well as doing a lot of videos and, you know, and we partnered a lot with Vaha, Vaha during the virtual Ahas. And so my husband was in the boutique and he was recording us, and we were doing a lot of that.
Me and Tanya would model and he'd put it on. So, and a lot of people did see it. Sure.
Yep. So with the pivoting part, I think we ended it with, last but not least, the utilizing of the shopceliasboutique.com. And definitely, you know, if you're watching, listening, definitely visit the website. Like, you know, I mentioned earlier, it's a work in progress, but you can sign up for our newsletter, and find us on Instagram, Facebook, and I will be adding us to TikTok.
Oh, okay. And also when we've done things, you know, night, which is a lot of people seen that. So that's a good thing for us to do too. Yep.
So it's funny.
Definitely staying relevant.
Yeah, my daughter, you know, she chuckles at me with the TikTok. And I'm like, no, we're going to do a TikTok for the boutique. And so, you know, so I'm in the middle of getting that started. But you're right, Justina. staying relevant, and staying relevant is a lot of work.
Yeah. And we've had to learn to do all these things because this isn't something, you know, that comes natural to us. So we've had to learn to do all that. So at least I have anyhow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, and the thing is that because we've been there for going on 18 years, back then, we were that true brick and mortar. It was people coming in, that foot traffic. It's, you know, one-on-one. It was different. So, you know, and maybe we needed to go that way anyway, but you know, this pandemic just kind of just turned, just forced everyone to go ahead and pivot and make changes.
Sure.
And I'm a firm believer that with every darkness, the light comes through.
Absolutely.
So now we have our online store, which we didn't. We're getting familiar with the camera. You know, a lot of us don't like the camera. I don't like the camera, but you know, we're doing it because we have to. And talking about being relevant and staying, you know, it's me going into your living room, and you can stay home and you can say, well, try this on, try that on, let me see this, let me see that, and place your order. And it's going in the mail and you'll have it. So changes, we have to embrace them. And sometimes,
and even when we get back to normal, whenever that is, all these other things we have in place, we'll still use, which is good. Yeah.
Yep. It'll be part of the norm for us with the business. So yeah.
Right.
So those are some of the ways that we pivoted and continue to pivot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tanya, I was really inspired by what you were saying about Elaine acting as your shero and really helping to support you guys. So one of the goals of this event is to hopefully inspire other women, entrepreneurs who might be looking to create their own business. So do any of you guys have any advice or words of wisdom that you would share with anyone who might be thinking about starting their own business, or maybe in the beginning stages? As someone who's been in business for nearly 2 decades, I'm sure you have some great advice that you could share.
Okay, go ahead, Celia. You can,
Okay, so the advice that I have, and you know, we were talking about this, is if you're thinking about starting a business, you have to know what your business is. You have to know your concept and stay strong with it. Don't deviate, because you know what, whatever you're thinking to start, that's your passion. You have to have passion. Anytime you have passion in something, then you're going to succeed, because you're going to give it your all. And when you believe in yourself, when you believe in whatever the product or service or whatever, then you're just going to draw other people to believe in you in whatever it is that your business is. Secondly is you need to find any resource you can, you know, SBA, your local SBA office, they're so helpful. And, you know, today it's all being done virtually, but it's okay. They'll help. They'll tell you what to do. They'll help you with your business plan. You need a business plan. You know, 3 to 5 years, you need to have that, because that keeps you focused. It keeps you honest with yourself. It keeps you following the steps, and that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to water. You're going to be like a plant. You're going to water yourself.
Right.
You know, check your New Bedford economic development team. They're awesome. Go to them. And when you find out where it is that you want to place your footprint for your business, as Tanya and Cynthia both mentioned, meet the neighboring businesses, meet the business, ask them questions. We're all there. If you want to go downtown, all of the businesses there and the owners, we're more than happy, because we want downtown to thrive. We want New Bedford, all of New Bedford, to thrive. So the more, the better.
And I think having a mentor in any job that you do, especially in business, that's important.
You need to have them. You know, that's what I said earlier. They're going to walk alongside you. Those are your mentors, and they won't let you down. So I hope that covers it. Everybody else wants to add anything to that?
I agree with both of you ladies. I think definitely mentoring is a huge part of this. And you know, you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
So the mentoring piece is definitely important. And like my mom mentioned, tapping into your community, and I keep saying community because, you know, that's a huge part of your
economy, and you know.
Sure.
You know, as an entrepreneur, as a business, and being part of your community.
Right.
You know, when we started up until now, we partner alongside neighboring businesses,
Yeah, we do.
as well as organizations in the area that you know, we help each other again rise. And you know, one organization that sticks out to me right away is you know, the YWCA Red Dress. We've you know, had our clothing in the red dress for several years, and it's great to be part of that. It's great to network, and it's, you know, a great way to help each other out and continue rising together. So definitely tapping into community resources,
Absolutely.
having that mentor, and so much more once you start your journey.
Right. And even the churches, we've done fashion shows at St. Mary's, even the churches, you know, they
St.
can
Julie's.
create, which really helps to get our name out there, or anybody's name that's going into business. So.
And we didn't mention finance. Very important to look at your finances when you're opening a business. If you can fund yourself, that would be the way to go. Because, you know, a lot of banks and nonprofits who have money, you're going to be at risk. You're high risk as a new business. You have no credibility. We don't know if you're going to fail or succeed. So interest rates will be a little bit higher. So if you can, you know, we self-funded, you know, different ways that you can do that. If you have a home, you could always refinance and, you know, stuff like that. So always look at the finances because that's going to be a big part that's going to be played in the success of your business to any new person who wants to start a business. That's just a really nice tip just to think about.
Well, thank you three so much. I am so appreciative. We're both so appreciative of your time today. I've learned a lot. I'm sure Justina learned a lot. And above all, I'm sure everyone watching learned a lot. And I hope that your message resonated with any future entrepreneurs. We're so excited for you guys to celebrate your 18th anniversary. So congratulations.
Thank you.
For anyone who's watching, please check out Celia's boutique at 111 William Street in downtown New Bedford. As you've heard, they're on social media. A website is on its way. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Live, they've got it all. So definitely check out and support this business. And thank you guys for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Wow, what an amazing discussion, and lots of just amazing inspirational stories that we're hearing today. What are your thoughts so far, Rihanna, about all that these women have overcome to create and sustain their businesses?
Yeah, I have to agree. This was really just so amazing and really great to hear from everyone. Something that I think just is great in general is to hear these background stories and these journeys of the women who have created these businesses. I think that oftentimes we see the final product. We see either the grand opening, or we just know that this business has been around. My mom used to go there. My aunt used to go there. I have a gift card to there, and we know it's there, but we don't know what it took to get to that place. What the sweat equity that was put into building, and the ideas, the trials, the failures, the successes that really went into making the business what it is. And so it's so inspiring to hear these background stories that everyone has shared today, that things that have started as an idea or that started as a conversation that were built up into something that's just really been so impactful for the community and in different ways. So that's really stood out to me, how much it's just been great to hear those background stories and to hear how they got to where they are today. It was really, really interesting and cool, I think.
I think so too. And I feel like one of the takeaways from hearing these stories, and even like going back to the historical perspectives that you shared, it's like these women are leaders in their community. They're involved in so many different ways, giving back. And I think that like that to me is empowering to hear for other people who are, you know, maybe starting off. So that's one thing that I'm really impressed to hear, like just how much leadership there is there.
Right. Like it's always been that way. We see the historical perspective that Black women have always been leadership. They've, even if the stories haven't been told, they've been there leading the way, maybe behind the scenes. It might not have been an upfront thing, but the more we're learning, we're seeing that it's always been like this. It's not a new fad. It's not something that we should just now be supporting. It's something that is in our history and honestly in our DNA. To hear these stories, it's something that's been going on for forever, that Black women have been great leaders and instrumental in the creation of different businesses and just supporting the community. I love the stories that people shared, that no one made it sound like it was about themselves. It was never about ego or something, that it was just that they wanted to see happen. Everyone who is owning a business or is doing something, they mention the community, they mention looking to others for inspiration, having input.
Mentorship.
Mentorship. I loved how when talking with the women from Celia's, that they said that they have those little personalized touches that's what keeps people coming in every day. They could easily let people shop, call it a day, but the fact that they are able to get to know their customers, and that's what keeps them coming back, give them the personalized attention and care and creating their outfits and making people feel good. I think that those things are really what, I mean, and we see that they're almost 20 years old. That's what keeps people in business, those personalized touches, but having that community mindedness and not making it just about one single person or a small group of people. It's always about the greater good. And I think that that's just really awesome to see. Yeah.
And then what stands out for me also, hearing Lori talk about how she ultimately ended up back in New Bedford after, you know, starting her career in New Bedford and then returning and kind of just planting roots downtown. And although, you know, she could work in, you know, other cities, that what's been attractive for her in New Bedford is that community feel. So I think that we're just blessed to have these women come on and share their stories. So I'm excited to hear next from Samia Walker.
Yeah, really looking forward to Samia. She's really been such an awesome pillar in the community. And like everyone else, as I'm thinking, everyone who we've talked to so far, and Samia included, plays many roles. Iva is a poet. She's an artist, multimedia artist, and she's the director of the Women's Center. And she brings that artistic perspective into what she does at the Women's Center. And then she brings her social work perspective into her art. And then you hear from Lori, she's a hairstylist, but she's also a singer. And everyone with Samia
so talented.
We'll hear that she works for E4All. She has her own business. Like everyone, the women at Celia's, they have a million hats. It's like everyone has multiple roles. And I love to hear how they intertwine, but how they also stand as their own. They have all these different identities and skill sets, and they're not limited to just one. They're using their talents to really help in different ways. And I think that's really exciting. So I'm really happy to hear from Samia as well. And I'm so glad that we had this group together. This is really great.
Yes. Next, I would like to introduce Samia Walker. Samia holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a victim service concentration from Bridgewater State College. Samia worked as a domestic violence advocate with the New Bedford Police Department. As an alumnus of E4All South Coast, Samia now serves as a program manager. Her unique and intricate perspective of the Accelerator program offers future entrepreneurs the support and guidance to help their businesses flourish, especially through adversity. She has proven that through her acceptance of the Honorable Christina Hamilton Award. Born and raised in New Bedford and now a wife, mother, and homeowner, Samia is grounded here and is invested in helping the New Bedford and Fall River communities reach their full potential through the people who live and own businesses. Through her own nonprofit, Doodles Creative Sessions, which hosts pop-up art parties with a focus on creative freedom, she has built strong networking relationships that will accentuate her passion for inclusive communities. She remains active in her community through local nonprofit organizations that focus on the youth, such as Third Eye Youth Empowerment, New Bedford Historical Society, and Black Girl Magic. We could not ask for a better community cheerleader here on the South Coast. I know firsthand about how willing Samia is to uplift new entrepreneurs, and since the inception of BuyBlackNB, Samia has given guidance and really rooted for this initiative to succeed. It's my pleasure to now welcome Samia Walker.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here today. And we really look forward to hearing some of your story of how you've navigated launching your own nonprofit and how you make a living out of supporting entrepreneurs on their journey. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Thank you. What a reflection. Wow. Doodles is almost 8 years old. Thinking back on how we started, I definitely had a blindfold on. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing it with the support of my husband, my community, my family, Third Eye, which is our umbrella organization. We made it happen. We had no money and we were just full of passion. I remember days when I was raiding my mom's cabinets for snacks for the kids, and my husband was setting up events right in our own driveway as we accepted donations from the community. It was really a village effort to get us off of the ground. The true definition of bootstrapping, making something out of nothing but energy. We did that for about 5 years. And here I am once again selling off unnecessary things so I could plan the next experience for these kids. And I met a gentleman who was a mentor for the E4All program at the time. And that $20 sale brought me this gentleman who was like, you have to sign up for E4All. And I had no idea what it was. I had never heard of it. But, you know, here I am with my passion project, and everyone was calling it a labor of love because I would never charge my community for anything. I love them too much. I would never take their money. We are in this together. But you know, there's ways to do that, and I was learning all of that through E4All. But of course, I never heard of it, so I Googled it, and I was still so confused because, again, what did I know about business? What did I know about anything? And here is this free program that offers you business education, mentorship, peer support, networking, resources, and microfunding. And all I have to do is show up. This is great. So I applied, and to my surprise, I was accepted. And the funny story about that is, while I was in labor with my first child, my husband attended my interview, and he got me in. So thanks, babe. And it was an amazing experience to have the support of a cohort and your community really rallying around you to help you get to that next step. Because again, learning about business is an entire new language, especially if you're a creative person. You just go in with your heart, and money's not even an object, but we all know that it really is. So through that, I learned so much, and we've grown so much, and here I am, like a brand new mom, a brand new wife, soon to be homeowner, just making my way through this program, learning so much about myself, about my community, and about how to effectively run a nonprofit organization and really be effective in my community. Fast forward 2 years later, and here I am, still running Doodles. We're doing great. I know exactly who my customer is, and we all know that's the most important thing. Kids are having a great time. We're building this community around us and really supporting these kids, which was huge considering all of the things that we've been experiencing. And now I'm not coming out of pocket anymore. I used to just, sell off all my things and do whatever I could to raise money to offer these experiences to the kids. But now that I actually knew what I was doing, thanks to E4All, we have an effective programming that's continuing. So, I was eager to really get back involved with E4All. Like, okay, things are settled down. I know what I'm doing. How can I give back? How can I volunteer? So I attended one of their events, which was their showcase and celebration, which is like a graduation ceremony that they have for each cohort that goes through. And here I am just saying it out loud, which we know is not always easy to do. And I said to staff, like, oh, I would love to have your job. I would love to do this. And the very next day, a position was open. So, I was all over it. I'm like, the idea of being able to live, play, work, and build my family right here in my community. Like, I didn't have to take a 90-minute drive to work just to pay my bills. Like, that thought alone was gold. So I applied. I wasted no time. And now here I sit today as the program manager of this E4All South Coast community. And we are able to be hands-on helping these entrepreneurs. And to be that ingrained in my community is phenomenal, because it really does take a village. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I think it's just so obvious from hearing you speak, and then also from knowing you, how important it is for you to see your community thrive. So I'll ask you a couple of questions about, let's start with how over the last year, how have things changed for you with the nonprofit? Where does Doodles stand as of now?
Right now, Doodles is moving how the community moves. We are doing the best we can to meet these families' needs. Being a creative is tough when you can't go outside, because we're involving everything from nature and hands-on and being close and doing all of those things. And COVID-19 has made it really tough, but we've adjusted. We tried Zoom for a little while, and the kids were like, I don't want to do this. I'm over it. So we get outside as much as we can. I take the lead from other parents. If they have activities that they want to do, we participate, we support, we do everything that we can, because it is a community organization. So we do what we can, when we can, where we can. And if that means, bundling up the kids and going out in the snow and whatever the parents need, because they have themselves really created this support system amongst themselves outside of the kids growing these relationships that they have with each other and these friendships. So we're here, we're a part of this community. We will continue to grow. We'll continue to pivot. We have lots of exciting things coming up. We've learned so much in the last year. It was really eye-opening. So we're excited to launch all of these new activities and things that are safe and fun and creative, and still offer kids that freedom to just be themselves.
That is exciting. More to come, I'm sure.
Yes.
And you mentioned a little bit about this, but how has mentorship played a role for you? And what advice do you have for young women professionals regarding mentorship?
I think that's an interesting question, because mentorship comes in so many different forms and in so many different areas of your life. And you'll come across that. It's just part of your growth. And it helps to realize that no matter who you are or how old you are or where you are in your life or your career, you are someone's mentor too. Like, someone is definitely looking up to you, whether maybe it's how you dress or how you talk or the things that you do for fun. Like, being a mentor is just being willing to learn from someone else, teach them what you know, and pass the torch when the time is right. For me personally, my mentors were always the ones that were like, hey, that what you're doing is not okay, or you can try this, or it's okay to do this. You don't have to fall into, the statistics or the norms or what you think is normal, because those are your surroundings. Like, it's okay to step outside of that and be a little different and grow yourself and focus on yourself. So that was huge for me growing up. And now I'm like, oh, I want to be that for somebody too. I hope someone looks at me and says, how can you help me get there? And I want to be able to pass the torch. And it's just a revolving cycle of, really one hand washing the other. And we focus on that village mentality, like just supporting one another in any aspect of your life, whether it's being a parent, being a business professional, being, you know, part of the community. It's just really getting involved and hands-on and supporting one another.
So true. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as we close, I wanted to know if you have any resources that you would like to share for new business owners, or any programs that are coming up, either through E4All or for new entrepreneurs locally.
Yes, there are resources everywhere. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, somebody knows something. And the whole point of me saying that is I want everyone to walk out into this community with the confidence to talk about yourself and what you're doing, and any projects that you're working on, any businesses that you're starting, any ideas that you have, because we're such a tight-knit community and we all want to see each other win. And we have so much support here. So it's like, okay, say it out loud and let's get it done. And who can we talk to? Who knows who knows what? Who can you call? Put me in front of this person. Give me an email. You know, let's schedule a meeting. Can you introduce me to this person? That's how we work. E4All itself partners with a lot of organizations, as well as Third Eye Youth Empowerment. We're all about partnerships. So again, just having the confidence to go out there and talk about yourself and talk about what you're doing, it's phenomenal. You'll get, just, you know, speak it, put it into the universe, and something will come back to you. E4All itself has tons of upcoming programs. I have open office hours every Monday if you just want to come in and chat to learn about our programs. We have a pitch contest coming up in April that offers a one-on-one coaching session with a business mentor. And we also have our business accelerator starting in the summer, which is what I went through to help solidify my nonprofit. So tons of things that you can get involved with.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes.
So very exciting and really encouraging to hear you speak about that during, you know, it's a time that is a lot of adversity for businesses, and I love your outlook on that. So
yeah, it's just being flexible, being creative, and reaching out and see what others are doing, and don't be afraid to ask for help. There are people out there that really just want to see you succeed.
Okay, thank you so much, Samia. Thank you for your advice and for taking the time to be honest with us today about your journey.
Yes, thank you so much.
What a wonderful evening it has been to have these conversations with some outstanding women leaders of our local Black business community. I know that hearing these stories can help to create a pathway for some aspiring entrepreneurs, and you just never know how impactful that can be. So we are so appreciative to each of our guests for their honesty and willingness to share this evening. As we wrap tonight's event, I would like to announce our next HERstory event will be Thursday, March 25th at 7 p.m. So mark your calendars, and the registration is available on Eventbrite already. If you would like to see our platform continue to grow, there are a few ways to support our cause, which you can find on our website, BuyBlackNB.com, information for our apparel fundraiser, and we are accepting donations. And please check your email for a post-event survey. On behalf of BuyBlackNB and the New Bedford Historical Society, I would like to thank you all for being an engaged community. Have a great night, and we hope to see you back next time.